testimony. Well, my name is Dan Livingston, owner of Livingston Media Company. I do the Waterbury Times based in Waterbury, Connecticut. I'm submitting this testimony in strong opposition to the proposed legislation, House Bill 5560, which seeks to regulate and restrict the ability of content creators, influencers, and individuals who supplement their income through reviews and promotions of businesses. Influencers have become an indispensable part of the modern marketing ecosystem, especially for small businesses. According to a 2020 Influencer Marketing Hub report, 63% of marketers said that they plan to increase their influencer marketing budgets. So this is not just a little simple trend. It's a transformative shift in how businesses, particularly small businesses, connect with their target audiences. Research from Nielsen shows that 92%, pause for dramatic effect, 92% of consumers trust recommendations from individuals, even if they don't know them personally, over traditional advertising. This type of marketing is particularly valuable in local communities where word of mouth is essential for business growth, especially places like Waterbury, Connecticut. And a 92% trust rating as elected leaders, I'm sure you would all be pleased if you all had 92% approval ratings. There is no statistical data to support that passing this bill does more good than harm when 92% trust the current ecosystem, unless, of course, those 8% all live in Connecticut. Content creators and influencers are not just online personalities who like to talk a lot. Many are individuals who, especially in economically disadvantaged areas, aka poor people, have been able to turn their online presence into a legitimate source of income. With all the isms in the world, nepotism, sexism, racism, felonyism, technology has paved the way with no gatekeepers for individuals to earn a living, simply just earn a living. And this bill seeks to gatekeep that. While it's well-intentioned, and I'm 92% sure it's well-intentioned, this bill would have unintended consequences that can harm small business and undermine economic opportunity for the state as a whole. You're going to disempower small businesses. Many small businesses rely on influencer partnership to get the word out. If influencers are unable to operate freely, these businesses will face limited options for low-cost marketing. In many cases, this could force them to rely on expensive traditional advertising. No new small businesses will come to Connecticut, and influencers will take their influence to friendlier states. There will be a mass exodus of content creators, influencers, marketers, small businesses who can't afford to market in Connecticut. And I promise you, this is my life 24 hours a day. I'm not being dramatic. We are not going back to print. Nobody watches television. Who's going to tell the world that Connecticut is great? We're the pizza capital of the United States because of social media marketing. So you're welcome for that. So in conclusion, to just wrap this up, this is a misguided attempt to regulate an industry that provides immense benefits to both small businesses and individuals. Rather than imposing restrictive regulations, I urge you to allow the laws in place to work. Libel and slander, that is applicable to a social media post. So we have laws to protect businesses from bad reviews. Influence in marketing is not a passing trend. It's either influencers or algorithms. Got to pick. Got to pick. Thank you for your time and hearing me out.
Thank you, Representative Retigliano.
Good afternoon, sir. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Is the Waterbury Times a online paper?
Yes. So the Waterbury Times is a social media base. We utilize Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We have a website. We use Newsbreak. And we gather the local news because the Republican American, may it rest in peace, now that it's bought by Hearst Communications, didn't do the best job of covering Waterbury. So it started off as we're just going to cover Waterbury. And a big part of that is our central business district. I'm like a walking algorithm. I can tell you right now, every restaurant to go eat at, why the pizza's good, this, that, and the third. And it just seems like this bill wants to put that in the hands of, I don't know where they want to put that.
You're not like the News Junkie or something like that. That's sort of a news website. You sort of just do it through social media where you tell a story about Waterbury, or that's how you...
No, I'm boots on the ground. I mean, if you guys, everyone, please follow the Waterbury Times. Oh, I'm going to take you there first. Whatever's going on, I'm there. But in the midst of that, because this, like I said, and I can only speak to myself, the Waterbury Times, it's kind of a hybrid situation. It's not you're necessarily what you first imagine when you think, oh, a social media site. We're making real changes in the city of Waterbury. We got a solid 15,000 total followers, and they're all local. See, that's the key differential that you have to think about. A lot of people's social media sites, when you see 2 million followers, that's worldwide people that press the button follow one time. I'm talking about locally grown people that have, a respectable amount of followers that they actually know. And if I say, hey, go to this restaurant, they're actually going to go to that restaurant.
So I read the bill a few times. Is there anybody else? If you don't have to answer, just raise your hand. Going to testify in this bill because I had came away with a bunch of in general. At first, I thought it was going after like online reviews. Somebody goes up there and it's your competitor, or they pay somebody to go up there and say something negative about you. But then I read it, and it seemed like it was more towards people like yourself, what you're up to, where you probably get paid to talk about a particular business, but in a way that's different than just sort of writing a review on Yelp or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Did I read it correctly?
That's how I took it. I didn't probably read it as much as you read it, but as I was looking at it, it just seems like it wants to, I don't know, it didn't give an alternative. So what I'm taking from it, it's pretty much, it seems like leave the professional marketing and advertising to the professionals, but it's kind of like, if a person from New York moved to Waterbury, Connecticut, I don't care, CBS, NBC, there's no better person in the Waterbury Times to tell you where to go. I live there. I'm there. I'm on the ground.
So you go around the businesses and offer your services for a fee.
Actually, what I will say is misconception, and I think anyone else would be able to attest to this. Our phones ring. We don't have a sales team, a marketing team.
Right.
We're just doing our thing. We get a bunch of followers. A smart businessman sees the followers, sees the value. My phone rings, or I get a message, and
Right.
it seems like this bill's gonna make them not be able to do that.
So, devil's advocate, do you think that somewhere on your site, when you're sitting there talking about, how great Dominic and Pia's is downtown,
Nice.
yeah, that you say, hey, this is a paid endorsement, or is that what the bill's looking for, or is it looking for you to have you completely stop doing what you're doing?
I'm reading it as it's trying to basically outlaw it. And again, there are already, maybe you guys can go back and look more in depth into this world of social media marketing, because through the individual platforms, there are certain things you cannot engage in. You have to put a title if you use AI. So there are, similar to, the conversation I heard before, there seems like there are stops in place to stop whatever this bill is trying to stop already. You just don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater all the time.
Would you be opposed to, like, if you're getting paid to promote a particular business in Waterbury, would you be opposed to some sort of, I have no idea.
Right.
I was hoping the bill said something different than what it says. So I'm kind of with you a little bit, because I thought they were going to talk about like the predatory practices of online, where they congregate reviews, like your
Right.
Yelp,
Right. I'm trying to take down your business, so I'm going to put a bunch of bad reviews to drop down your star rating.
Because it did say you have to disclose if you're an employee, but if you're hired to do it, are you technically an employee? So it started getting a little more in the weeds than I thought the bill was going to get into. But would you be opposed to, like, when you're doing a review or you're walking around, to just something on the bottom of it that says this is a paid endorsement or something like that?
No, I wouldn't, because the way I can't speak for everyone, because I try to, even though it is social media, I try to adhere to traditional methods, and TV, this is paid programming. So that just, to me, it's normal, a little bit older than most people that are running the social media, but I remember seeing this is a paid programming. So that seems realistic to me. That seems a lot easier than constructing it that we can't even conduct business at all with each other.
I understand. I really appreciate your answers. I probably can go on, but I don't think I'm in business, so I have a business, and I'm kind of in this world a little bit. Not what you do. I mean, I hire people.
You're on the other side.
Yeah, right. I don't necessarily personally have an issue with what you're up to, but there are some other people out there, namely your big review platforms, that are super predatory and really engaging with conduct that, in my opinion, is illegal. But I don't think this bill did that, and that's why I asked you those questions.
Okay.
Good luck to you. Good luck to Waterbury.
Yes, thank you.
A native son.
Okay,
I'm a Bunker Hill kid, just so everybody understands.
Okay, Waterbury's in the house. Don't get me excited in here.
All right. Nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you.
Wait, I might not be the last one. Hold on. Thank you, Mr.
Hold
Chairman.
on one second. Are there further questions? Yes, Representative Candelaria.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I also, when I read the bill, I share some concerns as well, because it's not very clear. I own a business, and I see how this would hinder me from growing as well, right? This is an opportunity, and I think all business owners see this as an opportunity when you engage with a celebrity, right, to get a testimonial. My question to you is, when you provide a testimonial in support of a product or a consumer good, do you review the product beforehand? Do you utilize the product? Can you talk a little bit about that part?
So pretty much the way that I specifically do it is because I like to keep everything super genuine. So when you follow the Waterbury Times, I want it to be like, no, yeah, that's a Waterbury guy. So I don't have to try, for example, Dominic Apia. It's a known fact. If I'm telling you about, I've lived there my whole life, I've eaten. So I don't, like, my method isn't to his point, going in, I'm gonna try your soup of the day, and then I'm gonna go tell everyone how great this soup. Like, that's not the business model. I just feel like the bill may indirectly affect a stream of revenue that sites like mine's depend on. So in the midst of writing a story about Chief Spagnola or whatever the mayor is doing, the new Afro Caribbean place opens up. You know, they might reach out, hey, DM, can you run it? So it's those opportunities that I don't want me and people that aren't as vocal as me and won't come all the way down here to become hesitant now. Like, I don't know, can I do that? Should I do that? You know, it's kind of, it's new industry the way we're kind of, but I feel like if we just, it's a baby now, but just let it grow, it'll work its kinks out. I don't think anyone is being harmed that detrimentally because of a bad review.
Thank you for that response, and that clears up a lot in my view as well, because I had literally some concerns. I still have concerns with this language because I see it's a hindrance for
Yes.
small businesses in the state of Connecticut.
100%.
So thank you for your time.
Okay.
Okay, Representative Yacarino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, because there's so many good questions. I would argue, I do agree with you because you live there. So you have to live in that community. So if you're being predatory toward a certain business, you have to have credibility. So I think, to me, you have more credibility than Yelp or something like that because they don't have the boots on the ground. They're not there. They're not living with their neighbors. And if you do a bad job, like in any business, you're not gonna get any reviews. They're gonna dump you.
Right.
I believe that's
Absolutely.
correct. So I would think we have to look out for small businesses that are in the community, that are working in the community. You know, I have a small business in North Haven. If there's somebody doing reviews on us, if they're living there, they know what's really happening. If they're not there, anybody could say anything.
Exactly. 100%.
That's my concern. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Yacarino. Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay. Now I'm good.
Now you're good.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.